Welcome, everybody, to Next Gen Leadership. I'm your host, Jimmy Ryan, and today we are talking about back to school, back to work. And we welcome Sasha Stair and Gino Ferrante. What's up, guys? How are you?
What's happening, Jimmy?
Hey.
It's kind of weird we even have to talk about this, right?
I'm pumped about it. I told you before off camera, I could probably do this whole thing by myself because I'm just pumped about it. It's just
start us off then. Rock and roll.
Okay,
release.
So here, we're releasing this first. So my routine in the summer got completely out of whack. I stopped working out. I stopped eating perfectly. I won a workout challenge. And then, I checked the box. And we were talking about this actually on a Next Gen Leadership call that the enemy of success is success, and I checked the box. And then I was like, well, it's the 4th of July, you can chill a little bit. And then it just completely got out of whack. So this time to me, I'm pumped about this because I love these times when you can just reset everything. And the best time to change your routine is when it's already changing. And why not choose the things that you're supposed to do? I want to work out. It's my responsibility to take care of my health. I need to get my kids to school. And there needs to be bedtimes. And there needs to be wake up time. You need to make food. Anyway, I want to take that to business. So with mortgage specifically, a lot of people have kids or whatever, and it's back to school, back to work, but everything's shifted with everybody. So if now is a good time when everybody is in this change mode, what are some things that we can do to really optimize it? Number one, take advantage of that situation and with our clients and with real estate agents. But then number two, take advantage of the situation with our own personal schedule, our own personal routines and disciplines. Gino, go.
So I'm going to back up a step, but I think those are the things we need to address. Sometimes we allow other people's schedules to dictate ours. Mm. And in this particular case, what we're talking about is our children. I can't think of a more important person to disrupt my schedule than my children.
Right.
However, their lack of discipline should not be imposed upon us because they have nothing to do. They have no responsibilities during the summer. Our responsibilities don't disappear. So it's completely unacceptable to allow their lack of discipline to affect ours. So it's hard. I get it. But you know what? In the morning, like you said, when they went back to school, man, we're going to the gym at 5 a.m., not at 6:30. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's a big difference. Gym at 5 a.m. versus 6:30, totally different day schedule. So we're back at 5 a.m. They're dropped off at 7:40. I'm back and ready and shooting and on the computer and doing stuff. That's the routine. Why should it change in summer? And then we'll all have excuses, right? My son is my workout partner. He doesn't want to wake up early if he doesn't have to go to school. Excuses happen. But even he called me out. He's like, if I don't go, it doesn't mean you can't go. And I'm like, I go, but you're my workout partner. And he's like, yeah, but Dad, if I don't want to go, you should go by yourself anyway. And don't let me stand in the way of what you're trying to do. I'm like, yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get to is I'm kind of a dick right now, for lack of a better term. I can't tell you how many meetings I say no to. I don't. I say no to a lot of meetings. I say no, not on Fridays, not on Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, between this time and this time, that's when I'm available, period, end of story. And if I have to lose the transaction because of it, so be it. I've determined that those are the non-negotiables in my life. Stick to them, because every time you deviate, something bad happens. There's a reason you came up with the schedule. There's a reason you came up with the disciplines. There was a goal and intentions behind it that if you allow other people to interrupt that, then you're going to be off course and you're not going to achieve what you were looking to achieve.
And it takes a lot to get back on course, Sasha.
10 times the energy.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to follow that one up. I feel like you just dropped the mic on me, but yeah, I've always loved when you're saying no to things, you're saying yes to other things, right? And so it's think about what you're saying when you say, do the inverse. When you say yes to something, think about what you have to say no to as a result, or think about how much you're diluting your effectiveness because you're saying yes to too many things, right? And so all the time we should be doing this, but certainly this time of year, I feel is a great time to do a check-in and go, okay, at the beginning of the year, these were my goals. This is what I set out to do. How am I doing? I like doing those deeper dive looks every quarter, right? So like we're almost at that edge of Q4 and go, how am I doing? And, yeah, I probably had to course correct this year. Like the last couple of years have been kind of wonky, and we have not been able to predict the ups and downs and the rights and lefts and upside downs. So it's okay, here I am now. What have I been saying yes to? Kind of like your practice, Gino, of what am I going to keep doing? What am I going to stop doing? What am I going to start doing? Right. And like bringing that into focus when you're thinking about what are you saying yes to? What are you saying no to? And making sure that it's aligned to how you want to finish out the year. And we all know, especially in mortgage, winter is coming. So yeah, we got a nice little rate drop. Yeah, maybe a little influx of business at the end of summer going into the fall. I'm hoping it picks up because we're about to sell our house, hopefully. So, stay with it for a little bit longer, but winter will come, right? And there's a lot that happens around the holidays too. And I feel like some people have positive experiences around the holidays. Some people have negative. So you go back to wellness and it's like, it's not just your physical well-being, but also your mental well-being, right? And just making sure that you're like kind of looking back at, again, what have I been saying yes to that's working? What have I been saying no to? And maybe some of that's working, some of it's not. And how do I balance that so that I can be more effective, show up, and finish out the year strong?
And 100%. And right now, there's like a stake in the ground. Like, this is the time. Like, it's just like, Gino, you guys know this. It's just like to put a stake in the ground and to say, I've decided I'm doing it this way. That, just like you said, it takes 10 times the work and the discipline to restart that. Well, you're already shifting anyway. Why not? The stake's already in the ground. Now you can choose what it is that you're going to do. So, okay, are you making your real estate agent calls? Are you making referral partner calls? Are you making the outbounds that you want to do? Are you doing lunch and learns? Did you say you were going to do it and now you're not? Well, now's the time to get back into that type of a mode. It's the time to start over. And I love that. I love that in this industry, especially, that we can start over.
Jimmy, are you saying we should build on the momentum?
I was just going to say, interestingly enough, I was gonna jump in on that, and I was gonna say inertia versus momentum.
Yeah.
Right. And inertia takes a lot more energy. To take an object that's at rest and to have it move requires more energy than to have an object that's move faster. That's just science. It's not. And it affects everything. It affects everything in life. It's science. It is part of this earth. We just happen to be on it, and it affects us. And so this isn't any different, right? So we need to get out of inertia, get into momentum, stay in momentum, because when it's, what you were talking about is, losing momentum is really what happens in the summer, right? For a myriad of reasons. There's vacations, you just lose your momentum. That's what happens. So now we're back in the inertia stage, and now I'm going to tell you something super depressing. The phone calls you're making today and the leads you're talking to today are closings for next year.
100%.
So you're already working on 2025 right now, and you just don't even know it.
Yeah.
So your actions today matter for next year. You can't just do your business plan in October and say 2025 is going to be great. You already fucked up Q1.
I know.
So
the season of harvest. Exactly, plant the seeds and harvest.
Yeah. So
and
right
also,
now we're planting.
We just did the webinar for Momentum Builder last week on the NAR settlement, and there was so much conversation around use it as a loan officer, as a sales opportunity. Go meet with your agents and, depending on the situation, I'm going to say this word delicately, educate them, because they probably don't actually fully understand the impact of this to them, to their buyer, to you as a loan officer, and they probably don't care. But that being said, like you should know, and you should have that as an opportunity to go have those conversations and say, hey, let me help you get ahead of this. And let's get that buyer agreement in place, sooner. And let me get that in my hands, and let's move forward together, and let's walk forward together in this. And it's a unique opportunity because I don't think any of us, again, saw this one coming. And many would argue that we haven't seen something like this. It's not really a regulatory change. It's just an industry change. We haven't seen something like this in 15 plus years. So, it's a perfect opportunity to build those relationships, go back out to those referral partners. And again, most people don't know much about what this all means and what it doesn't mean.
Yeah, and because the impact to every agent is different,
Yep.
Start with questions. Don't start speaking. Start with asking. Ask them and say, "Hey, now that we're a couple of weeks into this, how's it affecting you?"
Yeah. What are you seeing?
And then when they say what they're feeling about, and say, "Okay, is there things I can do to help you overcome the challenges that you're seeing right now?" Right? Those. That's like trust right there in a box.
Yeah.
Right. Ask those two questions, and that's trust in a box. And then when they say, "Oh man, it would be great if I just had somebody to do my postcards." Okay, we'll do postcards together. Like whatever, but ask the questions and you'll get the answers that you need so that you can put a business plan together to succeed together with that partner and show them that you care, which is really all that matters, is show them that you care.
Yeah.
So you're not calling them to say, "I need leads." You say, and in fact, I would leave this voicemail. "Hey, Susie, haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. Just wanted to see how the NAR settlement has impacted you. I know that it's impacting everybody differently, depending on what brokerage they work for, depending where they got their information. I just wanted to see how you're doing. Give me a call back."
Love it.
100%. And the saying of never let a good crisis go to waste. It's so true. It's so true because people are ready for it. And it's just like going back to school. It's kind of on par with that. We're already changing. Things are changing. Why not jump in? It's an opportunity to get in. And by the way, you said 15 years, Sasha. Wow, LO comp change. That was 2011. That's nearly 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't even believe that. It's 2011. It was. I remember it. I remember like it was yesterday. I didn't think it was going to go through. And I remember the last day before it happened, rates got insanely good and you could float and lock and then you'd make more money and you just like locked everything. Anyway.
I must have had way too much trauma because I don't remember any of that.
Bro, I did. You remember back in the day when you basically would play the market?
Yeah,
and like, it was basically gambling in just every single way. But when rates got worse, you basically want to kill yourself. When rates got better, you're having the biggest celebration in the world. And I was making like 4 or 5 points in the back. Back in the day, all like FHA. Anyway, it's okay. New Year's business planning, guys. Am I the only person that like really loves doing that? I like, it's literally like I look forward to it. And I think even now is a good time to maybe get that first draft started because you're right, Gino. The people you're calling today are closing in 2025. Now's the time to dial in your 2025. You can't wait until January 1. That ain't going to work. You got to hit the ground running January 1. Do you see me, Matt?
I'm proud to say 2 weeks ago, we sat with Sasha and Craig Davis and Don, and we put it in the war room, and we did a momentum builder business planning session.
Yep.
Okay. So bring some people. Don't be afraid to bring some people into your life when you're doing business planning because you can't see the forest through the trees. You need the outside perspective. Sometimes you're just stuck, right? Craig calls it get unstuck, right? And sometimes I don't think we went over anything that was earth-shattering, Sasha. I don't think there was anything novel or amazing or incredible. All we did was have the disciplines to follow a business planning protocol that Craig Davis designed. And whenever we got off course, Sasha would bring us back. She's like, you guys are just jabbering. And let me bring you back. And she'd get a sheet and she'd rock out a bunch of stuff. But so don't be afraid to bring people into your business planning session. I think that's super important. And business planning should not be about how many loans am I going to do? How many units am I going to do? It shouldn't be about that. It should be about what activities would the ultimate loan officer on the planet have, right? If I have, and what tools would I use? How would I execute using those tools? And what's the activity plan around executing that? The loans and the units will come if you drive the right activities. I promise you, absolutely promise you, you should be activity tracking and not goal tracking.
And also what we did in that meeting, which is, call it an IT practice, but anyone can use it, is a retrospective. Like what's been working, what hasn't been working. And I think it's powerful to have people that you trust, but that will also call you to the carpet to question the paradigms, the stories, the containers that you've been living in, whatever you want to call it, that may have not been serving. Or maybe they were to a point and they're no longer serving. And now it's time to change.
That goes back to success is the enemy of success because, well, this is what we've always done and it worked well. Well, maybe it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So this is a leadership call. So look, as a leader, how are we inspiring the change that we want to see? How are we using this here? It's not a crisis. Well, the NAR settlement's a crisis, but the change in routine, the change in schedule, how are we using this opportunity to rally in the troops to like, come on, let's go. We got to start our 2025.
Well, I'll tell you, I look back on these 2 years of pain with bittersweet thoughts because the truth of the matter is my team has gotten so much better because of it. They're better marketers. They're better communicators. They have better scripts. Oh, they've gotten so much better. They watched 1 million hours of coaching. Why? Because there was pain.
Yeah.
They didn't do it because they liked to. They didn't do it because it was fun. They did it because they needed to survive and put food on their table. And so now when the market gets good, this is what they talk about being ready for the opportunity. Now when the market gets good, their skills are so much better than they were the last time they did this, right? And so I'm excited to see what happens when the market improves with our team. And again, I would go back to questioning. I would go sit with your teammates one-on-ones, 15 minutes. Don't make them overwhelming. 15 minutes and be like, hey, are you happy with how your day is going or your year is going? Yes, no, etc. Right? Get into the weeds on that a little bit. Get deep into that a little bit. Okay, do you think it was why? Well, because our rates suck. Right? I'll just tell you something like that.
Never heard that one.
Yeah.
I can't hear that.
Okay. You know that Mike Razak has the same rates you do, right? And you know he works at the same company you do, and you know he has the same tools that you do, and he outperformed you 4-1. So it wasn't the rates. Now go on. You have to be honest like this, right?
Right.
And then they might say, well, he's got great business partners and I don't. Okay. Now we're getting to something tangible. He's curated those business partnerships over the last 15 to 20 years, and they're paying off dividends right now because it's a hard market and he has top performers in his arsenal. What can you do to gain more relationships like that, like the ones Mike has? And then you write down those things down. And so you're digging into the basis for a business plan without telling them your business planning. All you did was ask a couple questions. And then say, hey, I realize we didn't intend to go this deep today. Can we set up a 1-hour appointment and let's go deep onto this because I think you're onto something. Right. And so now you stumbled into a business planning meeting for next year. Because if you say, everybody reach out to me and book your one-on-ones for your business planning meeting, everybody goes and hides and puts their shell on and disappears and nobody shows up to the office. I mean, it's like
unless it's Jimmy. I'm probably the only one. I really do feel like that.
For the first session available.
I've already drafted stuff. Like I've already. But I'm weird.
Yeah.
I love business planning, Jimmy. I just want it to be about somebody else's business. That's why you need to bring in outside people, because sometimes it's easier for somebody on the outside that has no vested interest to just tell you how it is.
Well, right. And you're kind of blindsided by your own faults. You know, you're kind of in your own world in a lot of ways. And a lot of times a third party perspective can call you out. Like, hey, man, you're not making the calls you need to make. You're not setting up the appointments that you need to set up. And yeah, Mike's doing 4 times the business, but look at the disciplines that it took him to get there. Look at all the actions. Look at all the outbounds. And don't waste this opportunity is the way that I look at it. Because 2025, it starts right now. Sasha, I'll take over.
I just, so all of the commentary around supporting your teams 100%. And you mentioned, Jimmy, this is a leadership call. So as a leader, what are we doing? Leadership doesn't just mean for your teams, right? You can be a leader in any role at any level for anyone. And I'm going to give credit to one of my peers right now who knew I was having a hard week last week and left a card on my desk. And in it, there's a poem called The Oak Tree I had never heard of. And it talks about how the tree gets hit with storms, but the roots keep growing deeper as the tree gets older. And the older the tree gets, those deeper roots grow. And the more storms that hit, the stronger that tree can handle it. It's like, go ahead, hit me harder, hit me harder, hit me hard. Because it's like, I'm not going anywhere. I've been digging my roots in for a long time. And sometimes it's just that simple reminder to your peers of, you've got this, keep going. It's going to be okay. You're going to get through it. That is leadership. And so, yes, we want to coach our people, absolutely. But also just showing up and reminding people or being an inspiration is leadership too.
Yeah. And you never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. You gave me a little bit of chills right there, because you think about, and it's sad, but this is just the way the real world is for some reason. But growth only happens with pain.
Yeah.
Whether it's working out, whether it's you made mistakes in your life and you don't want to make those again with your family members, with your spouses, with your teammates. Like you say some stupid shit and you're like, damn, why did I say that? Like, but growth only happens through pain. That's just a reality. And so, but when you say it that way and you look at that poem, it is those that have endured the most pain, and it is those that have endured the most failure that are most prepared for anything. Yeah. Nothing phases you because you've already been through it all. That's the other thing too, right? Where it's like the first time you encounter death, you don't know how to deal with it. The 44th time you encounter death, you know exactly how to deal with your own emotions about it. So it becomes easier. It's never easy, but it becomes easier. I think that we have to find where the pain is inside of us each. We have to focus again, refocus. Should I say even reboot again, get ready now for Q4, put the business plans together, because the people we're talking to right now are the people that are going to make us successful in 2025. Start planning out my 2025. I love that you said, Sasha, everyone is a leader. Absolutely. Everyone is a leader. I've learned things from my kids. They're leaders too. So everyone around you, they're your peers. They're like somebody said, I think it was Hormozy said this weekend on an Instagram thing that I was looking at, I'm just a monkey on a rock. So none of this shit matters. And I'm like, he's like, so we make all these emotional decisions and all this thing and all that. He goes, none of it matters. Nobody cares. Yeah. So it doesn't, it's just, if you fuck up, do it again, do it better.
It's a good reminder. My mom has been in town visiting this last weekend up in South Dakota, and we went to the Badlands. And it was like I said, in the most positive way, doesn't this make you feel so insignificant? Because this has been around for 60 million years, right? And we've been around for 2 seconds. Like, yeah. I mean, it's just like a blip. Right. And so I love that reminder too, because it's not that we're insignificant. It's just put it in perspective and recognize the things that you worry about, the things, I mean, I wrote this on my Monday Magic this week, like the things that we stir up and the stories that we create are so illusionary, right? They're not real, and we're only here for a brief moment. Make the most of it. And if you need the support, maybe give the support to somebody else and watch how it will come back to you.
100%. All right, we're at time. Boom. Yeah, that was great. Sasha, post that poem.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a good thing.
I paraphrased it terribly, but I will post it for me.
No, and that's okay. And do me a favor, post it in the Momentum Builder app and tag us, and post it on our Momentum Builder socials. When you guys find good stuff like that, not just you guys, everybody who's watching this, post stuff in the Momentum Builder community. We all need the same things. We all need inspiration. We all need motivation, and we all need tips and tricks for success in business. Business is the most competitive sport in the world, and we need to coach each other. So please, please, please share these things. When you come across these nuggets, share them on the Momentum Builder feeds, whatever social you're on.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Just some notes, determine your non-negotiables. Say no. Inertia versus momentum. Never let a good crisis go to waste. New Year's business planning, it starts now. Start your sessions and get unstuck. This has been Next Gen Leadership with Momentum Builder and Sasha Stair, Gino Fronte. Thanks everybody for joining us. And hey, make a comment. Did you like anything? Engage with us. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Jimmy.